there, Steve-O. How you doing, man? How's life
All
up there
right.
up there in northern LA, Ventura doing?
Oh, pretty good. Not too bad. Rain stopped. Everything's good. How you doing, Sean?
Good, good. We had a little rain this morning too down here in San Diego. So, Steve, you were really one of the early adapters. You were one of the first guys in the country to buy Gunas over like a year ago. How's that working for you?
It's working great. I've tried probably hundreds of picks, to find the right pick. Everything kept slipping out of my hand. Everything kept twisting in my hand, turning in
Right.
my hand, and I was just like, man, I'm just like, I was spending, I'm not kidding you. I must have spent over $300 on picks or more.
I mean, honestly, the way this evolved was it didn't it evolved from solving a problem, right? We didn't say, hey, let's get in the pick business. There's money there. We said, hey, my designer's name is Jordan Gunas,
Hmm.
less the name Gunas. He came.
Right.
So at the time, I own a design and engineering company in Detroit, and I had 12 guys and me. I was leading, working on the 2021 Mustang body design. So we were in and out of the Ford studio, and we were working on the Mustang, and Jordan was working on the front bumper fascia. I was working on the hood. We had a team of guys all over. We redesigned the Mustang body, everything except for the doors. Those were carryover. And Jordan came in one day and he said, "Hey, boss, I had a bad night last night." I said, "What happened?" Jordan said, "I dropped my pick in the middle of a lead on stage with my band, and I was like completely embarrassed. And I had to run across the stage because I couldn't see it. It was black, and it was on a black floor." He said, "I couldn't see
Wow.
it, and I had to run across the stage to get, they covered for me." He said, "They covered for me, but I felt terrible." And I said, "Well, Jordan," I said, "I
Wow.
don't know where this is going to go, but what would a pick look like that wouldn't spin in your fingers or drop?" And he says, "I have no idea." I said, "I don't either. But let's figure it out." So we went into the studio, we'll say the Mustang studio where we were working,
Uh-huh.
and in my office we had a piece of clay. So Jordan grabbed a piece of clay and he squeezed it just like he does a pick. And so we got the indentation of his finger and his thumb in a piece of clay. So we had the finger and thumb, in the clay. We had that print. So then we took and we used a three-dimensional scanner, and we got that pocket shape on this side and then the thumb shape on this side. So we took that data, that CAD data, using the same tools as we did on the Ford Mustang. And then
Hmm.
we did a cookie cutter. We took the pick shape and we cut it through the data, and we 3D printed a pick.
Oh,
And
wow.
and so we had a pick within a few weeks. So we pushed a traditional pick shape through it. Then what we learned was when we put our fingers on it, on the older shape, there wasn't enough pick exposed. There wasn't enough tip
Huh.
exposed. So if you look at these, they're a little bit longer than a traditional pick. This way, they're a little bit longer.
Right.
And they
Right.
have to be, so that when this is tucked into your knuckle there, right?
Hmm.
When it's tucked in there like that, your finger doesn't hang over the edge of the pick. So our first pick actually was too short. It was just hanging out over the end of the finger, so there was not enough room. So we had to go back to the board and redesign it. So we redesigned it to be longer, and then we played around with this little ramp shape right here. Okay. Now,
Uh-huh.
when you first look at this, it appears to be a very thick pick, but
Yeah.
when you put your fingers on it, your fingers and thumb are zero point 0.7 away from each other, the same as the tip. So when you put your finger and thumb together, now we've got the 1 millimeter picks out. But when you put your finger and thumb together, the closest point where your finger is closest to your thumb, it's 1 millimeter. So it's exactly the same distance away from the thumb is exactly 1 millimeter away from the finger, just as if you were holding a flat pick. Now, because of the curvature in the pick, the pick it won't twist like it. I'm trying
Hmm.
to twist it, And because of these ramps here, it will not twist. It can't. So one of the biggest
I
compliments.
see exactly what you mean, because I'm twisting it every which way but loose, and it's not going anywhere.
It won't
It's not
twist.
even going. I can push like this. It's not going back and forward.
So
It's not twisting. Nothing.
what that does for us is it gives us the confidence to never have to look at our pick hand. We never have to look down and see if the tip is in the right spot to the strings.
Mm-hmm.
That is gone. You'll never ever need to look down and see, is my pick the right direction? And because it always will be. So that frees up a lot of brain space, a lot of thinking to, like, all right, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Let's worry about the chord hand. Let's not worry about where the tip is, and then I don't need to worry about it spinning. I don't need to worry about it falling out of my fingers, and then we just evolved from there. So we did 2 or 3, 4 more prototypes, and we 3D printed each one, and we tried them, and then we finally settled in. We finally settled into this shape here. So you see, it looks thick right there, but in the center, it's actually 1 millimeter where your finger and thumb come together. So this is I have to think that this pick could change the music industry the same way that shaped skis changed the ski industry. I've been skiing my whole life, and so my whole entire life skis were straight. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years from 2000, probably the year 2000, as far back as people skied, skis were straight. And then the ski industry saw the snowboarders laying down and just carving these beautiful lines in the mountain. And they're like, how the heck are those guys doing that? Well, they looked at the boards and they had curvature to them. And so the snowboards are wider at the top, narrow in the middle, and wider at the base. So when they laid that board down, it threw a natural arc into the mountain, and they turned with ease without even trying. So the ski industry said, hey, let's take that curvature from a snowboard and let's throw it on skis and see what happens. And the ski industry has never been the same. You can't buy a pair of straight skis, right?
Wow.
So I think we may be in the same phase as that in this industry. Now, it could take 2, 3, 4, 5 years for this theory. Similar, it's patented, but it will be the inspiration for picks for the next generations forever. And that's what we're kind of excited about. And we didn't realize that we were going to affect the industry the way we did. We had no idea that the music industry would just roll over for these things. And then I got a guy in, where's Mark? He's up in Idaho, and he buys 50 at a time, and he just hands them out. He just hands them out to all his friends. I called him up. I said, Mark, do you have a store? I mean, I can give you wholesale prices. You're paying full price.
Yeah.
I mean, you buy 50, I can give you a deal. And he's like, no, I just buy them because I share them with all my buddies. And so we're just having fun with it. But when somebody asks, when somebody complains about the price of $2 a pick, I have to reply the same way. I say, listen, when you spend 6 months developing a product, make 6 to 8 prototypes, and then invest close to $30,000 in custom tooling, steel tooling, and start molding your product, I'll pay $2 for your product. I promise. So, flat picks are just basically die cut, right? They put them on a big cookie cutter, and they come down, and they just
stamped out.
They just ba-boom, 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 ba-boom.
Yeah.
But these are injection molded, and you notice on the very end here is what's called the gate. And this very end of the tip here is where the material flows through the mold, and it goes into the mold, into the cavity and core right here. And around around the outside edge of this, you'll see a parting line. There's a little tiny line. That's where the mold and cavity and core of the mold come together. So this is an engineered, manufactured piece of plastic that's worth $2. You know, I want to encourage everybody and anybody to go develop their own product. And when they've got 6 months and $30,000 into the part and process, that I would be happy to spend $2 on whatever they're selling just because they did it. The problem with the pricing is that everybody's making money but us, right? So if I sell these on Amazon, Amazon gets 30% right off the bat. Okay.
Wow.
All right. Then I've got shipping, which costs me almost $4.25 between Amazon and shipping before I even put these in an envelope.
Wow.
So when someone says, you know, can I buy one or two? I guess, would you pay $10 for two? I don't want to do that to you. The best deal is that if you buy them and don't like them, and all you got to do is go to our website and go to the little chat box down there and just put your order number in there and say, hey, send me a return slip. I will send you a return slip and a refund. You send them back. No questions asked, no problem. Make sure all 10 are in there. I don't care if they're worn out, but make sure all 10 are. Sometimes we get a pack of 9 back, and I've already given the guy his money back, you know.
Right,
it's like son of a bitch. So we're learning how to work with the industry, and I wish, and the reason why we pay more than a regular envelope is because they're a quarter of an inch thick. That quarter of an inch adds $3 to the price. If I folded a piece of paper and put it in an envelope, I could send it for 48 cents. But
I mean, the thing is too is the way they're packaged is, you know, they're packaged really nicely. I mean, they're vacuum packed. You know, you get them, they're vacuum packed in there and stuff. And I mean, that in itself was pretty impressive to me when I got them, because usually I get picks that just all loose in a little teensy bag with a piece of cardboard on it. And then when I got these, they're all vacuum packed, you know, and stuff. And I thought, wow, man, they really took care of these, you know.
Well, we did that. We did that for a reason, and the reason we did that, and no, they in fact, the supplier had never vacuum packed anything. I had to buy them a meat vacuum packer processor machine to do this.
Wow.
Yeah, I bought them. I had to buy a vacuum packer and ship it to my supplier. But the reason that we did that is so that when they're in the store, in a 10-pack, you can hold the pick inside the package with both fingers.
Oh, wow.
Right? So you can hold it before you buy it.
You can check it out. Yeah,
you can get it in, and that's why we did this.
Oh, wow. That's I never even thought about that, but yeah, that's a great idea.
You know, I wanted the
you can kind of try it before you even take it out of the pack.
I wanted the buyer to be able to hold the pick, you know, the way they would inside the package before they made the decision. And then if they flip it over, you'll see on your package there's a QR code here. And if you click that QR code, you'll see my 9-minute video on the design and engineering theory that went into this development.
Oh, wow.
So there's a video there you can watch when you get them.
Awesome.
So, you know, we pay attention to detail.
I mean, this is my go-to now, you know, and these guys that I took it to at Guitar Center, for instance, when the day I bought these picks into them, I said, you know, when I first said it to him, I said, hey, have you ever tried one of these picks? He goes, no, I only use one kind of pick. And I said, well, give something else a chance. I said, what do you use? He said, something called Gravity. A friend turned me on to him years ago, and that's all I use now. And I go, well, I've used those before. And I said, I didn't like them. I said, in fact, I got rid of them. And he goes, he goes, yeah. I go, just try this, man. Put it in your hand. Try it. And I'll show you how to hold it, or you can hold it any way you want, but put it in your hand, try it, and try to attack the strings any way you want, man. You're going to get a great sound out of it. I mean, because it just digs into the string and it just gets that tone out of it. A quality tone, you know, you're hearing. You know, whereas I've played with several other picks, and all you hear is like this you know, you don't hear a high quality tone like you hear from this. You hear like a dull tone. It's not just quite there like this is.
Right.
So,
Sometimes,
I mean,
Steve, I get guys, they say I've been playing with this pick for 20 years and that pick for 30 years. They reach out to me and comment on Facebook and in my messenger, and I always tell them, if you're in love with your pick like you are your wife and your family, stay with it. Don't even
yeah.
don't even if it does everything for you that you need, stay with it. I don't want you to leave what you love. That's fine. No problem. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's okay. There's lots of fingers out there. We're gonna find them one by each,
Yeah,
two at
you
a
know, the thing
time.
that
Stay tuned because my next design release is gonna be even better. And we did some things we listened to people like you, and I'm calling this the guitar pick designed by guitar players for guitar players. So we've taken the input from every comment that I've gotten in the last. I've had over shipped over 2,000 packs of picks, and we've taken the input from every single person that has given us input, and it will be in the next version. So this will be the guitar pick that is designed for players by players, and there's no stopping us now. There's no stopping us.
awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I have to say, once you start playing them and you start practicing with them more and more, my playing has got better. I play a lot to a metronome so I can increase my speed with my drills and stuff like that I do with my scales.
Right.
And I've just noticed that my speed has come up on the metronome. When I'm doing string skipping and stuff like that, and doing alternate picking, so much quicker, so much easier, so much faster. Like you said a few minutes ago when we were talking, it's one thing you don't have to worry about. You know where your pick is all the time. So you're not looking down there.
Right.
You're looking up here where you're at, but you don't have to worry about looking down here anymore.
Exactly.
Because you know how much you're choked up on. You know where it's at. You know it's staying there.
Right.
And it's not going anywhere or twisting anywhere.
Exactly.
And it's not going to twist or turn unless you want it to turn and you want to attack at this angle. I mean, the attack's better. It's smoother. I mean, and the speed.
Right.
I mean, a lot better and a lot more thankful for the results that you get after you just give it a chance and you play with it for 3 or 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever it takes you, wherever you are in your journey, if you're a beginner, intermediate, whatever. I mean, when I picked it up, it took me I played it for probably an hour to 2 hours before I got used to the exact position I liked it in the best. And
right.
from there, I was just like playing it all the time.
Awesome.
So
that's
the
awesome.
thing is you just have to, for you other guitarists out there, I'm just telling you, you just have to go through that little learning curve. But once you do, you're going to be glad because you ain't going to be out going and getting a bunch of other picks.
Right.
You're just going to stick with this.
Right.
Okay, you're going to know that that's not going to twist in your hand. You don't have to worry about where it is all the time because you know where it is.
Right.
And that's just the bottom line. I mean, save yourself the money that I did. Don't go through $300 looking for your perfect pick, when you can get it right in front of your face and just give it a little learning curve. It's not going to take you much.
Right.
And you're going to be right there,
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean it's guys like you, it's guys like you that spend the time to get to know it, and then it becomes your go-to pick, and then it becomes part of your body, and you don't even think about it. You're not even. It's not even on your mind. It's like driving a car. You're not thinking about the steering wheel or the pedal, right? You're just driving and you're talking. Well, when you're playing, you're driving the car, and that's your foot on the throttle right there, and you don't even realize it, right?
Right, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's been a really good experience for me, and you know, like I said, obviously it's been a good experience for my friends because they keep stealing them from me.
That's what I
So
said.
you know, and
That's what I
like I
said.
said, it's kind of a funny story in a way because I mean, I had 20 of them, and I'm down to the two that you see now. And you know, just slowly, I
Uh,
mean, the guys at Guitar Center, I gave one each,
right.
you know, and that was it. And then the other guys that come over to my house to jam with me and play with me, you know, they'll
Uh-huh.
pick it up and start messing with it, and they'll
Right.
play around with it. And then when they get ready to leave, I'm sitting there putting my stuff away, and I'm like,
Uh,
"Hey, where's the rest of my picks, man?" I mean, you know, and then I'll call him later and say, "Hey, man, did you happen to take one of those picks that I had that you were using?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, sorry
oh
about
yeah.
that, man.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
I'll bring it back." I said, "No, don't worry about it. Just
Yeah,
keep it,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Hang
That's
on
cool.
to it." And I
Awesome,
said, "If
man.
you really like it," I said, just order some. You know, I said because it's going to save you money in the long run. I mean,
Yeah,
seriously.
well, I mean,
I
like
mean,
like my mom and my grandma used to say, the cream always comes to the top. And
yeah,
if anybody, buys these and tries these and doesn't spend enough time to adapt to them and doesn't want to spend enough time to adapt to them, just go to my website, type in your order number. I'll send you a return slip. We'll find
yeah,
somebody else that has time to learn how to play them.
yeah,
So no problem. I have no problem. So don't think like, oh,
yeah.
I'm going to order these and I'm out $20, because you're not out $20. You just get a hold of me and I'll buy them back.
Any pick that you pick up
Right.
is a learning curve
Adaptable.
because it's a pick that you're trying out that
Right.
you haven't tried before.
Mm-hmm.
I got a hold of these, and when I got a hold of these, you know, I mean, the only big thing for me to get around on these, to tell you the truth, was that ergonomic finger group because I was like, huh. I go, that's so cool how they do that, but I'm just okay. Where do you place your
Mm-hmm.
finger?
So
And I mean, on the pack, when you look at it, when you're, I think I saw on one of the videos too, they're saying that you put your finger here, your thumb in the back.
right. Yep.
However, when I first learned this, I had my thumb resting in the back
Mm-hmm.
and my finger coming down like
Mm-hmm.
that and played like that.
Right. Right.
Then I found that it's kind of difficult. So the right way to actually play it really is with your finger like that and like this,
Mm-hmm.
because you get a better attack of the strings that way.
Right. Right.
Attack it either direction or any way like that. So,
Well,
uh,
I mean, if you look at your hand, um, your finger is longer than your thumb, and when you come back to the grip, your finger and thumb, they're not at 90 degrees. So
right.
the pick is not designed to be directly in front of your finger like this. The pick is designed to be on a small angle like this, and you'll notice that the pocket is off center. It's not symmetrical.
Mhm.
It's not symmetrical to the tip of the pick. The pocket is off center. So it's off center because your finger comes in at an angle, just like the way Jordan squeezed that clay that one day.
Mhm.
And so it should be very, very, very natural when you first